All right, welcome back to Off the Crypto Cuff. I'm Jesse. This is Jeff. We're your hosts. We're two friends that have a conversation and just see where they go. Generally, the rule is we follow conversation as long as we have a drink. And once we're done with our drink, conversation is generally over. Sometimes they run a little longer, and we pour a little extra.
All right.
Yep. So, Jeff, what do you got to say today?
Oh, well, start off by saying it's like, I think this was a gift.
Okay. Yeah, that's the Angel's Envy. Nice.
Yep. So that's what I'm drinking.
I got
so
Jefferson's trying to finish this bottle off.
Yeah.
So close.
That makes sense. Well, I was just real quick. I was noticing on X, there's a lot of people that are in the Algorand family that are in California. They're in the affected areas. So everybody, please be safe. I'm, very sorry about what's going on over there. It's not a lot that I can do personally, except just to, extend.
Our thoughts are in your our thoughts of you guys for sure out there. It's pretty crazy what's happening. It's one of the biggest fires they've ever seen in history, I think, out there.
Yeah, and a lot of it, just boils down to government mismanagement.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, a lot of heads are about. A lot of heads are going to roll. It sounds like from what.
And just to put a pin on this, because I've kind of seen this on both sides now, is to say it's wrong when Democrats wish more bad things in Republican areas, and it's wrong when Republicans do the inverse.
Right.
Period. Stop it. When bad things happen to good people, and that's what's happened in North Carolina, this is now happening in California. It doesn't matter where it happens. It's a tragedy. We need to treat it as such, please. So sure. I wanted to get that off my chest because some of the stuff that I was seeing just bothering me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll see it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So the last time we were here was before we took basically a holiday break. And I did mention, the top 5 and kind of like my little game theory that I'm trying to play is just like not try to spread FUD, but what is the Achilles heel of these blockchains that can potentially cause them to falter or to kind of go away when the big flush happens. And that's basically my theory, is that there's going to be a big flush out where liquidity drains and floats up to basically a select few. But there's going to be basically a couple diamonds, in other words, really good projects, but they're just going to fall to the wayside for one reason or another, not because the technology's bad or because the team's bad, but because they just get ignored or overlooked for one reason or another. And what could those potential reasons be? So I mentioned Bitcoin, Cardano. You can't really have a list without Bitcoin on it. I think Bitcoin and Cardano are now actually married at the hip. That's a personal opinion. I'll just leave that there. And then I mentioned Algorand. So the next one on the list, and this is alphabetical order, not necessarily a numbered order. So the next one is Hedera Hashgraph for HBAR. It's a very interesting project. So technically, it's not a blockchain, it's a hash graph. Mathematically, it works out differently. It's using graph theory, way over my head. I think it's Achilles heel and could be a turnoff, but it also is very strategic. They're not actually going after community first, the way a lot of blockchains actually start. So basically, they started off with a corporate governing council. So they have IBM, Ubisoft, Samsung. They have some large corporations, industry backing them out the gate.
All right.
So that actually lends them really good on to basically, real world adoption and that side. But potentially the Achilles heel on the other side is the trust factor when it comes to, say, the libertarians, because like, I don't trust IBM. I don't, trust, X, Y, and Z. It's a quickie. It's an, easy thing to actually kind of pop out there, put into the ether. It's not FUD. I'm invested in HBAR. I do actually believe in this project. It is extraordinarily scalable. It's actually kind of like neat, the technology. They are actually legitimately trying to do something different than what's been done in the past. So, so the next, or the last one on my list, XRP. And something happened within the last week that kind of destroyed my argument of why it could actually kind of pop.
Okay.
And I've been trying to do some research in this, and whether it's John Allen Woods, David Schwartz, somebody's school, me at the middle school level, of ISO 222 and its importance, because I am now more confused than ever, and I'll explain why. So what my initial argument was of why XRP could potentially fail was going back to what I was mentioning before with Herb Sutter and the adoption time frame. It takes about 10 years to go from an old technology to a new technology, especially when a corporation's already adopted, because it takes money to move, it takes money to maintain, all those different things. So it takes about a decade for adoption to happen. And if banks are currently within the SWIFT ecosystem and they're transitioning, which is basically a text messaging system, payments, acknowledgements, retransmits, the whole kit. It just is a message. It's not a full-blown protocol. It's just a it's a text definition. So what is it? An ICD, an interface control document is effectively what that is. And it can be transmitted through HTTP, FTP, just a protocol that can transmit text, right? Mm-hmm. Well, so other YouTubers been mentioning for a few years, it'd be like they find like Swift documentation and be like, this proves it. They find the word DLT in it, right? Distributed or digital ledger technology, DLT. And then they would take those 3 letters and equate it directly to Ripple and equate it to XRP. Well, the community at large corrected all this and by basically saying that Bitcoin is a DLT. All of these different cryptos are all DLTs. XRP doesn't own it. Ripple doesn't own it. They're all DLTs.
Right.
Well, recently, Swift itself came out and says, well, the DLT that we're choosing is Chainlink. So Swift is trying to upgrade themselves on-chain through Chainlink. HBAR is integrating with Chainlink. Algorand is integrating with Chainlink through Folks Finance. Mm-hmm. So Chainlink it's not on my list, but it looks like it's going to be here to stay.
Oh. So go back into Swift. Explain what Swift is. Like
Swift is the cross-border payment system as it exists today. It's primarily controlled by the United States and its allies, but primarily the United States. So when the U.S. basically says sanction XYZ country and its banks, is being sanctioned through the SWIFT system.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. Mm-hmm.
So getting away from that in some sense makes sense, and them trying to upgrade themselves and save themselves because there's already that integration. So if they could actually make themselves faster, cheaper, all those good things by integrating with Chainlink, they've actually extended their life a little bit. Why would banks actually spend time, or that gives them more time to actually look at other alternatives, other technologies? So that's what I was thinking. Okay, there's the Achilles heel. So then comes
XRP, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying to track, but also yeah, put some markers in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying 2 weeks ago that was what you were thinking was Achilles heel to XRP.
Yeah.
It's Swift and Chainlink marrying up, and then potentially allowing Swift to continue on even if crypto.
Well. And Algorand actually has integrations with a couple of central banks. There are actually other cryptos that actually have integrations with other banks. And if those cryptos are actually able to do a dynamic interchange with Chainlink, and it's just easy to kind of see some kind of these wheels kind of falling off.
Right.
But here's the news that just dropped. XRP is integrating with Chainlink for real-time data for the real USD.
That's interesting. Huh?
Yeah, so that now it leaves me scratching my head. So I had to research, the ISO 222 because it's left me more confused. I'm like, okay, so let me try to figure this out, because I know interface code control documents, I've done engineering, I've done programming, I've done a lot of different things. So I was like, let me try to figure this out and try to understand this. And one of the first things that I look for when trying to determine technologies is limits, right? What is the max limits of something? Because that determines the effective technology that I have to write on top of. Because if it can't successfully handle the max limits, I have to discard it. So basically, the max message size for ISO 222, which is going to effectively replace Swift. Swift is basically very, from my understanding, it's basically very text-based, right? It's almost, it's, basically it's just simple strings, carriage returned, right? There's really no structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like ISO 222, for whatever reason, is going to be XML. Why didn't they go with JSON or something that's a little verbose, which would have saved a little space? I don't know. But it's XML. Fine. Its max text size is 25 kilobytes. So 25 characters. The max message size for XRP, Algorand, HBAR, for most every crypto I looked up, it's 1K. But every single one of them is claiming they're ISO 222 compliant. And I'm sitting here scratching my head. It's like, I don't know what this means now. Well, one, the term is already meaningless because it's a message format. If you can transmit text like HTTP, FTP, any file transfer protocol can transfer this document. So the only reason why you would use a blockchain is to have immutable proof that the message was sent and replayability. That's what blockchains give you. And there's actually something else that it gives you, because this was also something I was thinking about, but I could get in that in a second. But I want you to kind of respond to what I already put on there. Because are you starting to have similar questions?
Am I? No, I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Yeah. I mean, the ISO part, yeah, I'm kind of confused on that too, but I don't know. No, I'm not. I guess I don't see an argument in it. Sorry.
Well, I don't see an argument for. There's a few arguments to actually use blockchain for it, but I don't actually understand why you would actually want to use a classic banking protocol when you can just use the crypto. Right. Because basically a Swift transaction or an ISO 222 transaction is, I want to, from this institution to this institution, I want to accomplish this transaction. So you send a message saying that I want to do this. The other institution says, okay, I'm in pending. They send an acknowledgement. Okay, I've cleared it. Okay, I've cleared it. It's a lot of back and forth. That's what these messagings do.
Right.
Whereas blockchains do this atomically just by sending the value.
Right. It's like trusted, essentially. It's like, Whereas what what you're saying, ISO 2200 is not necessarily trusted. It's more so it's a handshake of going back and forth, and that's why it takes so long, probably, right? Because it's especially if you're sending anything overseas, it takes for that communication to go back and forth a lot longer.
They've been talking about because decentralized exchanges already exist. Boss with Bitcoin and Cardano have already demonstrated the ability to do a dynamic transition. So that way, as somebody with a Bitcoin in their wallet, they can send Bitcoin from their wallet to somebody else through the Bitcoin network without actually knowing it's going through that stage of writing effectively the Cardano network to get the higher throughput.
I see what you're saying.
Right. And then so imagine
automated, essentially.
Right. It's completely automated. Yeah. So imagine to say that you take that technology, that capability with stable coins is like, I want to buy a house in Italy. I want to use Italy's currency, but I only have American currency. Now I transmit my American currency to the broker that's actually handling basically the mortgage, transferred to me. I send him my real USD or USDC or whatever, and it hits one of these bridges, automatically converts, lands on his side, and all he sees is his native money.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot more technicalities to
no, I understand, but I think it's not so much that I'm sending him USD. There's a conversion happening of before that USD is even pulled. So because the conversion, obviously, so let's say dollars to euros, euros cost more, so you're gonna have to pull more dollars than what a euro value is. So it's kind of like, I'm sure somewhere in that transaction it says, oh, you're getting euros, like you would tell it, it's, I'm taking my dollars, I'm turning those into euros, and that guy's going to get euros. It's going to convert that, pull that money, and then send it.
I think we're saying the same things, but
we are. It's just, I think the way you said it to me was that I'm sending him dollars now, and then it gets converted there.
When I see the transaction, what I'm saying is seamless, and I don't know, I don't care. Yeah, it's seamless. He doesn't know, he doesn't care.
Semantics.
Because when he says, "Here's the QR code, scan it," I scan it, I hit send.
Yeah,
it's done. Gotcha. Right? Because when I basically scan it and I'm seeing the verification, all I'm seeing is the dollar amount and what I know and understand. But when he receives it, it's in a dollar amount that he knows and he understands.
Yeah, his dollar amount. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. I was thinking differently than what you said just now. Yeah. No. That's the future, man.
I think that is going to be the future. Yeah, but effectively, that future doesn't involve banks.
No. I mean, we're sort of already doing that with PayPal. If you think about it, I mean, PayPal, when we pay people, I've bought stuff from overseas and used PayPal to do it, and that's, it takes, now they see the payment, but they may not receive the payment for another 3 days because they're still using Swift to transfer that money. But the transaction is happening. That's how you're seeing it without the bank necessarily. It's, I mean, sort of. I don't know. I think we're still using banks with PayPal because they're literally pulling out of bank accounts and moving it to another bank account. So they're just kind of,
and they're also holding money, so they kind of function as a bank themselves. So I think they have to have a banking license to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it kind of blurs the fences a little bit, So there was Zillow and Zemo or some of these others. I can't remember the names of them.
Well, it's this with there's Zil, Zell.
That was the one.
No, Zell. Sorry. That's Zell, and then what's the other one I use too? I mean, I use them all. It's anyways. The thing too about this is that they're not using crypto. You're bypassing the banks essentially. Like you said, we're not. It's going to happen faster. It's not going to go through a bank. Because you're literally, again, you're the holder of your own crypto, and then you send it to somebody else. They're the holder of their own crypto. So the banks aren't holding crypto. Now, if you're using it to pull money from your bank, that's a different story. But
there are use cases for basically hybrid networks, or basically public-private. Right. So I have heard, I can't remember which bank, I think it was Citibank or one of these other large American banks, that's actually using XRP completely internally as a private ledger. So I could potentially see use cases theoretically where they would actually use a Swift or the ISO 222 to actually do a transmission to basically synchronize a couple private ledgers. And effectively, by using the public ledger to transmit the message, it inscribes permanently and securely that transaction in a very secure way that neither of those institutions can deny what happened. There is a use case there.
Trusted again.
I mean, it becomes extraordinarily trusted.
Yeah.
And here's something. Again, you're an IT guy too, so.
Yeah, but
one of the most elusive things, huh?
I'm at a different level than you are, though. So I'm not the programmer type. So
But you understand what it means to be 5 nines, right?
yeah,
It's very elusive, very hard to do, very expensive. Some of these blockchains actually kill 5 nines by actually, actually staying up full time.
yeah.
Whether that will always be the case, but 5 nines for the layman's, actually, I have to Google it because there's a lot of math involved in this. But effectively, it means that there's no more than 5 minutes of downtime per year. 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of uptime. And basically,
24/7.
right, you're operating 24/7 every single day, holidays. If there's a glitch, it's going to cost that institution money. They put a lot of money into actually make sure they have at least 5 nines. A lot of these blockchains, yes, they transmit slower than potentially these real-time systems, because some of the fastest ones, they're still measured in seconds, not like nanoseconds. But you cannot actually deny that you have this distributed trustless system where you can actually validate that something actually happened and almost have a guarantee that the data is just going to be there when you need it. So there are reasons to use blockchain. Where I'm just confused is when I just take a look at the requirements. The requirements tell me is to say, well, your max message size for this new message format is 25K, but the largest message I could stick into a transaction is 1K. There's a massive disparity there. So how is this supposed to work? Are they transmitting through NFTs, which means that they're going to be using IPFS on top of the blockchain? How is this going to look and work? I think I'm missing something because there's just a level of detail that I'm not getting. Right. So it is actually kind of neat. And I'm looking forward to, the future of this. And one of the coolest things that is actually happening, I can't wait till this comes to the US, is the last post basically said 99% complete. It's the immersive to pair wallet integration on Algorand. It's going to be available in Europe, New Zealand. They listed like 3 or 4 countries, not the United States, probably because of regulatory reasons. But basically what that is immersive is partnered with MasterCard, and you're going to be able to get a digital MasterCard in your pair wallet. So that means you'll be able to use your pair wallet as a MasterCard at retailers.
Okay.
That is, in my opinion, that's huge.
I thought we were already seeing that with crypto.com. Don't they have something like that already?
Well, crypto.com has a MasterCard, but you're talking about centralized institutions distributing. They've already got brokerage licenses. They've already got banking licenses or whatever licenses they need. Adding this in.
Yeah.
This is immersive, integrating directly with a blockchain wallet.
Yeah.
For your decentralized money.
It's your bank.
You're the bank.
You're the bank. It's correct.
But
when I say crypto.com, that's a like a brokerage essentially that's holding your crypto for you. They're being bank essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotcha.
Why I think this is important is, I'm a heavy Linux user, like most, nerds, geeks, whatever. One of the biggest problems with Linux has always been, and I'm not talking about the open source software, I'm talking about applications like Adobe. Why isn't Adobe on Linux? Well, because they don't have users there. Why are their users not there? Because the software is not there. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like, how do you solve this chicken and egg problem? How do we solve the issue of adoption with crypto? Well, you have to make it. We've said it to say, crypto has to be easy to use. Well, how do you get retailers to use it? Well, retailers probably use it if there were users demanding the use.
Right.
right? So now you're seeing a similar chicken egg.
Yeah.
This immersive with MasterCard and Pair Wallet solves like half that problem. Now I can actually start using my crypto at retailers. They don't have to know I'm using crypto.
Yeah.
All they see is dollars.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah,
right.
That could be the first step towards.
It could be a very big first step, and then you start onboarding people into basically into that wallet ecosystem. They start seeing how easy it is to use, how easy it is to actually to self custody, how it could actually benefit them in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, but the part I see, the hard part, is what's going to entice people to do that. You know, what the average consumer that doesn't know much about crypto, but they hear about it, yeah, here and there, and then they're like, oh, you want me to like take my dollars and put it in crypto and then use it to buy stuff? What's gonna push that? What's gonna push them to do that? You know, that's the part. I think that's the part where it's not there. Obviously, I don't think it's there. You know, unless you're saying something.
Well,
but besides, I mean, I think for us, it sounds great because it's like, oh, we have all this crypto sitting over here. We want to be able to use it when we want it easily. Sure, but that's because we've been investing and stuff like that.
So yeah, we are very niche. We're very early.
Right.
And what we're actually what I would say we're trying to expand into is like you're skipping way to the end to the people that really don't care about their finances. Is like first you get the technical people. We pretty much have those people. Then you want to extend to the people people that are thinking about their future. They want the best investments. That's next. So I know this is going to.
No, there's definitely waves. Yes,
right. So, and I want to sound like a Algorand chill at the moment. So bear with me. But I mean, that's where this conversation is revolving around because of the release of immersive Pair Wallet Algorand. I mean, that's the ecosystem.
Right.
So the next wave is that, you know, your friends that are basically into saving money, they want the best interest rate. So basically you bring them in by saying, well, guess what? Your bank and their savings account, you're only getting 0.5%.
Not even. It's almost less than that. Yeah.
Right. I can get you 5.5%.
Right.
Through Folks Finance. Bring your money into the buy USDC on Coinbase. Put that USDC because Coinbase is integrated USDC directly to Algorand on chains. That means you don't have to convert it to Algo first. So you can bring it that USDC directly over.
Yeah.
You just need one algo for the transaction fee, right? So you have to have at least that much. Well, it doesn't cost an algo, but you get what I'm saying. It's a fraction of one, but you need a little bit of algo so you can actually do the transaction fees. It's very tiny. But from there, you use the Folks Finance application, and what that is it is true decentralized finance. So basically, on two sides of this, you basically have lenders and you have borrowers. So basically, they'll see like two sets or three rows of interest rates. You have the lender's interest rate. So basically you deposit, you get a higher interest, a decent interest rate because you're providing liquidity for people that are going to borrow. They borrow at a market rate. This rate has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. It is a market rate. It depends. It's the rate based on how much money is available. So if there's very little money available, guess what? The market rate is going to be high. If there's a lot of money available, the market rate is going to be really low. So that's the way lending should be, and that's the way, you know, depositing should be, and that's the way a banking system should work. So that's how you capture people and onboard people.
Yeah, I mean that could be the answer to this country out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the way the rate works.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting aspect to it.
You know, and that'd be the next set of people to capture, because then they would be able to explain it and capture the next group.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just time will tell, I guess. Really,
it will. I mean, there's a lot of different use cases. I mean, it's like
I agree. There's tons of different use cases with crypto, but it was this more so just drilling down to this one with drawing people into actually using something like that. You know.
And if you're already an enthusiast, you're already into something. It's just like,
Yeah.
I did not
Early
expect.
adopters. That's
Or
what I
yeah,
was
early
thinking.
adopters
You said
is.
you said like you said a different term earlier, and I was like, no, we're the early adopters because
Hmm.
there's people that aren't necessarily tech that don't,
Yeah,
they're
there's people that see this as quick money, and then they're just
yeah.
throwing it
But
willy nilly at whatever's coming their
there's
way.
also people that see it as like, huh, this has some legs potentially
Hmm.
and could go somewhere. They may not understand the tech behind it, but they understand that
Hmm.
it takes early adoption to be involved in something like this. It takes, time, it takes people knowing it, everything. So but yeah, I mean, that's the same thing with like, you know, that Tesla truck, like I can't understand, like, I don't understand why people buy it. Honestly, that's just not me. But early adopters do.
Hmm.
They're into it. They get into it. They have no problem spending extra money on something that may not be very good and seeing where it goes. They just like that feeling of being the first person involved in it.
Hmm.
And we have to have those type of people. It's not, if you don't, then things like that never make it anywhere because then they don't get tested. They don't get the involved, over time and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So that's something to think about with this. It's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I derailed.
Well, it's a completely valid point. I mean, you take a look at large screen TVs.
Hmm.
It's like there was actually, growing up way back when we had, our large, CRT TV. When I say large,
Yeah, you're talking probably 45 inches.
no.
Was it?
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it probably the bezel. I mean, the thing was,
Yeah,
extraordinarily heavy. It was just like the actual screen size was probably small.
yeah,
But you go up the street, and I was going to school. Basically, his dad basically owned like a steel recycling thing or something. Another. I mean, it's basically they were the millionaire up the street, and we just happened to be friends. Can
they
go
had
into his
money.
house,
Yeah,
and they had the big screen, right? So they were the
projector box thing. Yeah,
yeah, the projector box thing, right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
the bottom drawer popped out, and
yeah.
it was the full thing. But these were the early adopters. So the reason why the technology is the way it is because you had those people be like, oh, "That is cool." They're going to show off their money a little bit by having it,
Yeah.
even though it's a little obscene. But by having people that actually buy into those things, it produces the market that allows it to get cheap enough for everybody else to have eventually.
And they get better and cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's anything, honestly. It's
Yeah.
cars, technology, even applications. Look at, like just, I mean, phones, it's everything.
Yeah.
Anything
I,
new. That's
and it's definitely going to be mainstream when you don't know that you're using it. And the funny thing is that in small use cases, it's already there. So I've mentioned this before, and again, sounding like the Algorand chill, it's like
mm,
I'm invested in everything that I've mentioned. So try to get past that, please. Not you. I'm talking to the audience.
yeah, I gotcha.
um,
I invested many, so
yeah, it's like I know that it's going to be a multi-chain future. I just don't know which ones. So I try to diversify in the ones that I feel are the strongest.
right.
And after kind of like hearing more about Chainlink, I'm like, I kind of missed out on that one.
Yeah.
you know, but that aside, is said Algorand actually has a project called AsadPay. AsadPay is actually already banking the unbanked in Afghanistan. Because of all the wars, conflicts, all the things that actually happen in that country. It is really hard to get any kind of bank or banking system to remain stable there. So, one of the guys that actually used to work for a banking system that existed there, he created something called AsadPay, completely decentralized and functions on the Algorand network. What's neat about it is that it doesn't require a smartphone. You could make transactions or get balances over a regular phone, basically like a pay phone, if that's all you have access to, or you basically get a coupon with a QR code on it. and retailers basically have scanners where they can scan the QR code, and that's effectively your wallet.
Okay.
So they're using Algorand without actually knowing they're using Algorand.
Right.
So today,
simplicity.
right.
Talk about,
So today, 30% of power bills in Afghanistan are being paid on Algorand.
Interesting.
I mean, so that's effectively a preview of what can happen, as it becomes more ubiquitous and more applications, get built outwards.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer people to be, in the ecosystem and actually be able to use it, because that's where, the wealth is. But, when that's not feasible for one reason or another, then, it kind of makes sense. But it's actually kind of neat use cases.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm still waiting for the MasterCard thing, because that would actually benefit my life tremendously. And that would open up a lot of investment opportunities for me on chain too. Because there's a lot, I'm still trying to play a lot of things. I've been avoiding effectively, the Fox finance thing, and trying to maximize my gains in higher percentage yields, which also is riskier technically and providing more liquidity. But if I had the MasterCard, then I could actually probably take a lot more of the money that I'm actually making to, tuck it into basically the Fox finance and get that 5% yield, and then basically start paying bills and stuff directly off of my Algorand account effectively.
Right.
And actually reduce normal banking.
Yeah. You would be able to, and then the interest you could use to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. More real world experience with it, essentially, is what it would be. Yeah. Or not experience, use. Sorry.
And it says not trying. It's like, we're not giving anybody financial advice, so we're not financial advice.
we're just talking here, just spitballing ideas. Like, I mean, but it's interesting. It's exciting, but also interesting to think about.
Right. I mean, and
possibilities.
Right. And one area is just like, not to give anybody advice. This is what I did. I mean, it's the internet can ask me for this if they want to. But I onboarded 3 family members to Algorand through the Pair wallet. I walked them through setting up the wallet, and I sent each one of them 100 algo. I didn't ask them to buy it. I just sent it to them. And so I did it with my mom. We, it was like, we're separated by distance. We were on the phone while I did it. I was like, did you get it? She was like, oh, I got notified. It was that quick. With my 2 younger brothers, I was actually in town with them. So I was sitting at the table with them when it happened. So I was like, send, ding. And they just see how fast that it works. Be like, there you go. Have fun, explore.
Right.
Not telling them to invest in it. I gave them basically effectively free money. So when I sent it to my mom, it would that 100 algo was about $12. Now, when I sent it to my younger brothers, it was about $40, because of today's volatility is probably about 30. But
Merry Christmas.
We're expecting more out of it. But I mean, it's just like
that. But that $100 algo could turn into so much more down the road.
Yes, it could. But it also gets, people that typically don't think about it, especially people that, if you're wanting to advocate, take a religious term, evangelize,
right.
The power of crypto. If you really think the one that you think is going to win, could you truly convince somebody that, that close to you to use it in their daily lives? Could it be that quick and easy? And it's like, I have a few that I could actually show them. I mean, I could have even showed them HBAR. I mean, it's like they finally have the Hashpack app is available on the phone. I could use that one as an example. I might try that one next. It is also really fast.
I'll give you my account number if you want it, so you can sing.
Our comment section is going to blow up. Send me a little.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, no. Wow,
you're like, $100 for you, $100 Oprah over there with your.
Yeah, no.
Just kidding.
Not going to happen. I don't have that much. I still work for a living.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
So,
it's like that was, you know, like a family thing.
no, I got it. Yeah,
But it can
it just.
introduce
But you're
people.
showing people how it works. You're showing people, that are
Right.
close to you, like, hey, this is how easy it is, really. So it's like you're introducing them to
Yeah.
things. So
And it's like,
plus, they're all subscribers to our channel.
yes, they are. Well, it's like one of the things that you can do in the Pair wallet, and I'm sure you could do this in other wallets too, but there's an integration with something called Bibly, which you could actually buy gift cards using your crypto.
Yeah.
So something that works, today without MasterCard. And there's actually a massive amount of, you can get to Applebee's, Amazon, and apparently Fandango Voodoo. So, my younger brother is a big movie buff. So instead of actually compounding my algo earnings 1 month or 1 week, I decided to get him a gift card.
Oh.
And so basically one of the reasons why I was showing on the wallet was, well, if he is in a financial need, this would be probably the fastest way for me to be able to help him.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to explain it to him on the phone, and my ability to explain things, his ability to understand things.
Right.
Sorry. Right. So there was a kind of like a cross in communication, but when I was able to sit down to him and actually demonstrate it to him,
Yeah.
It's
always easier to
installed.
show than explain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm putting this in. Here's the transaction. Send. There it is. Now you see the value.
Yeah.
Right. Then and then showing them the features of the app, and then it starts, clicking. Be like, because for him, he was actually not in crypto. He doesn't have really the money to invest in it. My other, my other younger brother, he's already invested in like Ethereum. He had to sell for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I was like, and he kept asking about, well, what are you into? When should I buy? When should I do this? And I'm like, trying my best to be like, well, not financial advice, but, X, Y, and Z. These are the ones I'm watching because of these reasons. You probably need to research them further, And then I showed him the Algorand wallet. Is like, you want to, it's like, because he ended up buying some algo. And I'm like, you're going to want to self custody at a certain point, because technically, as long as it's on the centralized exchange, it's not it's not yours. It's theirs.
It's vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing too. When people ask, "Oh, what should I buy? What should I buy?" It's like, it just, and we've talked about this before. Is like, you can buy now if you want. It's not that it's just understanding it. It's not a get rich quick situation. If you're going to buy now, just know 10 years from now it'll be worth a lot more than what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's about increasing your dollars that you currently have in a different pace than they are in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to look at as.
It
has that potential. We
Mm-hmm.
we don't know. 10 years from now, it could all be gone. Could be a wash. This whole crypto market thing could be just dust in the wind. But I don't think so personally. It's been around what, 20 years? Essentially, what's it, 20 years now or 15 years?
20 years.
Yeah. So I don't see it going away. If it's been around that long. But
Now, the biggest
we
threat
don't
to
know. That's just it.
right. The biggest threat to crypto is the ability for somebody to break the encryption. That's not going to happen until damn, I lost the word.
Well,
quantum computers.
Yes.
And they get big enough to be able to break commonly used algorithms. But Willow was the last big announcement. There was actually a really big announcement, I think, from China that actually had a CPU that was bigger, that actually also had its autocorrection in it. So it may be closer than we think. The reality is everybody in the crypto scene's watching and trying. The question is how fast can these chains pull an upgrade.
Right.
Now,
This. Ooh. Go ahead.
oh, I want to hear that.
Think about this. We don't know who invented Bitcoin. Nobody's upgrading Bitcoin. Here's my question. Not to you necessarily, but just to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Could quantum computing kill Bitcoin? If that is the case. Now, these other ones, I feel like they'll morph. That's where the but is to me. It's like, yeah, quantum computing, a lot of them see it coming. They're, like you said, they're watching it. They're going to integrate. Then you'll have quantum computing that will actually be running crypto. So it's kind of like, it just evolves.
Right. Well, here's the reality. It boils down, after listening to a lot of smart people, it boils down to two chains right now that are quantum safe, at least out of the gate, before it's even a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It boils down to two that are safe today. Yes, they can be upgraded. It's just it depends on how fast they can pull the trigger on an upgrade and how vulnerable are they between the time it's a threat and their deployment of the upgrade. So Hedera Hashgraph, they're the inventor of it, basically described it this way, is that they don't use SHA-256, they use SHA-384. And the reason why they use SHA-384 is because theoretically, it would take taking every atom of this planet, turning it into a quantum computer, and it might break SHA-384 in a lifetime. Theoretically.
Yeah.
That's assuming that somebody doesn't figure out advanced quantum mathematics and an algorithm that can shortcut, X, Y, and Z. This is talking about mathematics that is way outside of it's like I barely understand cryptography, and that's even getting a higher level. So I will take his word for it. And he was basically saying is this like, if it's under threat, he would actually take in consideration actually moving away from that into something else. Then you get into the second one, Algorand. It's like, hey, it's the Algorand episode. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of the technology, but they actually are using a algorithm chosen by NIST as a post-quantum secure algorithm. It's a hashing algorithm. So they're already using an algorithm that's known to be quantum secure. Well, a lot of algorithms, sometimes there's a flaw in them and they're found later. So even though that is known to be secure today, doesn't mean it's known to be secure in the future.
Right.
So take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm going to say. But for today, let's go and assume that it is secure. The only issue here is that the way they are using it is that every 10 minutes, effectively, he actually gave a number of rounds, which he averages about 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, they take a they take a hash using this quantum secure algorithm of those the blocks that were generated that 10 minutes and stamping it. So that means that anything from basically 10 minutes ago through all the way through the past has this quantum secure hash on it. So the entire history of Algorand today is safe. So that means that all that's left to secure is the actual transactions and the wallets.
Mm-hmm.
And they're currently in progress of trying to get those secure. So they got the history secure. So the risk there is when quantum computers come online, how fast can the quantum computers actually do a break? And does that mean what does that mean for that 10 minutes? Could effectively you do a denial of service on Algorand and get it stuck and not be able to proceed in the future? It's a theoretical risk. I don't know how big of a risk it is. because we're talking about technology that doesn't really exist yet.
Right.
No,
So
there's some hypotheticals, but I do believe we are closer than a lot of people think we are.
Yeah. No, well, I know they talked. I think was that it's a big convention out in Vegas every year.
Mm-hmm. CES.
CES, yeah. And I think that was a big topic out there besides AI, because I think quantum computing is a big part of potential AI too. So it's so again, time will tell.
Time will tell all
dun,
things.
dun, dun. It's like, yeah. All right. Well, with that, I have done my drink. I think we're kind of ending.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I mean, that was a interesting note to leave off on.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, and to the audience, please join the conversation. It's like start commenting below. Let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear from you.
I did see some comments on the last video. I think it was. I don't know if you're checking those out and responding, but I think we should respond here and there. We can in the comments.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like if you do actually comment, I will interact, except for the people leaving like partial keywords, trying to fish out
trash. Obviously, yeah, we'll leave the trash alone. But no, yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching us. Remember to like, subscribe,
and comment down below. See you next time.
See you next time.